Hey guys, it's Sam from Degree43 Hot Tubs here, and we're back for episode 3 of Tub Talk. So this is our weekly podcast where we aim to take the stress out of your renovations by bringing experts from all around New Zealand to come and give you some tips and tricks on what to do when you're renovating. So today we've got Bronwyn Williams with us. She's from Ray White Metro here in Christchurch, one of their top real estate agents. So how are you, Bronwyn?
Hey, I'm great. Loving it. Living the dream here in lockdown.
Lockdown, absolutely. I guess that's changed things a bit for you. But before we sort of talk about that, tell us a bit about yourself. How did you get into real estate? What were you doing before?
So I think when my father would say that I was born with a realtor magazine in my hand. And the reason for that, I guess, was because my family live and breathe real estate. Not so much in the respect that they necessarily worked in real estate as real estate agents, although a number of them did, but they just loved property investment. So I remember from a very early age, it was Saturdays and Sundays, driving around with my dad, who would be constantly looking at houses, looking at signs, writing down stuff, working things out. So it was kind of a thing that was always, part of our growing up. So property in some respects has always been that thing that's always been there. But my background's actually in television and in television camera work and marketing. So when I left school, I went and worked for TVNZ, and then as a freelance television camera operator, I do a lot of long lens stuff on rugby and cricket, golf, that sort of thing. So still do a wee bit of that, keep my hand in.
Maybe also not so much at the moment.
No sports to do at the moment. No, there's definitely nothing sort of happening at the moment, which is a shame. But so yeah, my background is essentially in marketing and in presentation, and I've also done a little bit of event management work. Plus, I owned and operated a really successful art gallery for a while as well, which was fantastic. So I can frame you pictures if you want me to. So yeah, lots and lots of different things that can come to my to becoming a real estate agent in the end. So all the way through all of those things, the property interest was there. I bought my first house when I was 18. Yeah. So that was interesting. I guess bought another one. I've been a landlord at different times in my life. Mm-hmm. But it was about four years ago that I decided in 2016 that it was time to take it to that next level and really do it as a job. And it's been great. Love it. It's a really great, fantastic job. I think that people think that people that go into real estate love houses, but actually it's not about loving houses. It's been able to, well, it's loving people really in a lot of ways. You've got to want to be around people, because you are essentially meeting people who have got who are trying to find a solution to whatever it might be, but they want to move somewhere, and want to move up, move down, move sideways, move on. And so our job is to find that and then find them somewhere to go.
Is that still happening during the lockdown? Are people still sort of buying and selling homes?
Well, I would say that we're in a wee bit of a holding pattern in some respects, because whilst we can advertise houses, whilst we can, market them, and we can take calls and we can impart information, it's very rare for someone to buy a house without actually physically being, visiting the house. So until they can actually view the house for themselves, it's unlikely that someone's going to spend, $500,000 or more on something that they haven't actually been able to touch, feel, or have an experience of. Having said that, I have sold 2 houses without the without the purchasers ever setting foot into it, until such time as they'd either made an offer, or in fact one gorgeous woman, I handed her the keys as she walked over the threshold of her new home, and that was the first time she'd been in it. So it does happen, but at the moment, with the way that the lockdown is, I would say that most of the sales that are happening are sales where people don't need to view the property. So whereas land things where the actual property on the land isn't as important as such as the holding itself. So we are transacting, but in a bit of a holding pattern.
Okay, that's interesting. So obviously that sort of process has changed quite a bit. Is there anything that you think that's changed now that you guys are going to stick with after the lockdown?
Well, as a team, my team, there's three of us. Jasmine Rowland is one of our fantastic lead agents, and then there's myself and our wonderful associate Susan Dunn. You might have heard of her. If anyone doesn't know, that Susan Dunn is in fact Sam's wife. She's fantastic, and we're so lucky to have her. So the team of our team of three has always looked at that virtual side of the business anyway. So Susan's very much been working on our social media side of things when she started with us, and we've always done things like walkthrough videos and things. More now than ever, this is obviously required, but we were always looking at it in that respect because we want to be able to bring all of our houses to a national and international market. So there's not always those people that can view a property on site and they want all of the information beforehand. So, you know, walkthrough videos, videos about lots and lots of really great photographs, and social media and portals and things have always been really important. So yeah, are we doing anything different? Well, we're just ramping that up, but we have been doing that anyway. So I think in some respects as a team, we were a little bit ahead of other agents who might not have been doing that.
Gotcha. Yeah, and they'll be definitely feeling it now, won't they? Yeah. So what?
Well, it's pretty hard to get someone around to do a video now, you know, while we're in lockdown. So obviously we can't do that. So what we're relying on in that respect is for the person in the home to be a fantastic camera operator. And I can tell you that that's not easy. I mean, we can all hold our cameras and do things, but you know what? It's like anything. It takes practice, and people that haven't had practice doing that, you know, they're doing as best they can, but it's not necessarily presenting that property in its best light. So, you know, if there has been a video made, a professional video made prior to, we're finding that those are the types of people that are coming to us saying, we've seen the video, we've read the information, great, we've got lots and lots of photographs there. So, you know, they are qualified almost. They've already done all of those things before they're calling. So, you know, they're asking more about specifics, about things that maybe they can't see, or the construction and that sort of thing.
Okay, interesting, because I've sort of been wondering how the housing market's been holding up, because I picked that the house prices were going to drop a bit, but I read the other day that they're actually jumped up. Are you sort of expecting that to continue, or what are your sort of guesses of what's going to happen?
Well, I think that we're a fairly resilient little bubble here. You know, we've, I think, responded very quickly to what's happened overseas. We've been lucky because, you know, geographically, we have not been, we've been watching what's been happening elsewhere. So look, you know, our situation around what, you know, it's hard at the moment, but not necessarily for as long as it will be for perhaps other places. So as far as our industry is concerned, look, going into the lockdown, we're in a really buoyant market. The last 4 years has, in Christchurch anyway, has been a fairly sort of stagnant place. So if you bought a house in 2016, chances are, if you haven't done anything to it, if you haven't, you know, added real value to a property, you know, kitchens, bathrooms, that sort of thing, and you haven't, you know, changed it significantly, chances are it's worth a similar amount to what you paid for it. So, you know, what we're finding at the beginning of this year was so that we're starting to see that trend going up and much faster, lots more people in the market, people feeling really confident about buying property. And of course, with interest rates so low, I mean, you can, you know, you can buy a lot, you're getting a lot of bang for your buck, and it's not costing you a lot to transact and to buy something. So look, before we've just had some great figures being released from REINZ, which would suggest there's 10% more people in the market at the moment, which is, you know, which would suggest, if you're looking at supply and demand, When you've got, a higher supply, lower demand, obviously, people are the sellers are buying for that. They're in competition with a lot of other property. When you've got, more buyers, well, of course, there's not enough property to go around, so they will often pay more for that property because they want to secure a smaller pool of property that's around. So 10% more people in the market. In Christchurch, we are at an all-time high for our median sales. We hit 500,000 this last month, which was up considerably from the month before, and so that's a record figure here. So as far as what's going to happen moving out of lockdown and further forward will probably depend on what happens with our COVID-19. How many more people? If we have if this is an ongoing thing, sure, I think that it will potentially make a bit of a dip in the market. But the buyers that are out there right now are hungry for property.
Yes.
The sellers that are out there right now are really motivated to sell. So when you've got motivated buyers and motivated sellers, you have a market, so it's a good market. So what I guess will happen is if people don't put their properties on the market, well, the market will slow anyway, because there's not people that are looking for something they won't be able to find what they're looking for, so they may leave the market as well and wait. So it's a sort of a psyche thing. And I see at the moment that we've got a lot of interest in the properties that we've currently got on the market. People are just champing at the bit to get into them, to have a look. So they're just waiting. We're all in a waiting sort of thing, going, when can we actually go and view that property so that we can make a decision. There is, of course, the group that are going, hey, we wanted to move, but we didn't need to move, so they will retrench back potentially. But that'll be a personality thing. They'll decide that individually whether that's something that they want to do. Other people will just go, you know what, we want to do this. I mean, let's face it, Sam, there's a lot of people going to be out there right now who are like stir crazy, worked out that their houses are not fit for their purpose. So they're going to want to go, oh my goodness, we've got to get out of here. We need a bigger property, or this house is too expensive for us, or we don't want to be in this environment any longer. God forbid we're going this way, we don't want to live with each other anymore. There'll be lots of all sorts of reasons why people transact.
Particularly those with bigger families, they've been stuck at home with their children the whole time. I think that'll be a big part of it.
Absolutely.
I've had a few people sort of asking in because they're wanting to free up some cash flow, because obviously a few people have lost out so far during this pandemic. So what if they should wait until maybe we go to the next level, so we can take photos and whatnot of their houses and sell it? What are some things that they can potentially do in the meantime to prepare their homes? What are people sort of looking for when buying homes, and how can people use that to their advantage?
So presentation is obviously key, but it's not necessarily about making your house look like a show home. I mean, whilst people often sort of see these beautiful homes and they're superbly furnished and that sort of thing. It's not necessarily what you don't have to spend a lot of money doing it, is what I'm saying. Obviously, people hear it all the time, and there's obviously even these television programs about it, about less is more. Decluttering your house is something that's not expensive to do. It's just a time thing. So, being able to remove all of that extra stuff that, we obviously need and use, but, getting rid of it, putting it away. The things which sell houses really is, there's a standard saying, I guess, which is kitchens and bathrooms sell houses. But actually, there's a whole lot of other things that sell houses. Insulation at the moment is a key one.
Yes.
We've had, with our rentals now having to be at a certain level, that's prompted a lot of people that are buying their own house to go, well, wait a minute, we want our house to also be a healthy, happy home, a warm home. So if you've got the ability to, upgrade or make sure that you've got comprehensive insulation, that is, that's a big tick on the forms, so to speak. But the other side of it is that when somebody walks into your home or sees it online through photographs of it, you've got to basically, you want them to go, I could live here. Wow, I really like that environment. So that's outside, that's inside. It's, by making a place feel like, hey, this is a place that I could see myself. And then our job is obviously to market it around that person so that we can, target into that group. But if you're looking at kitchens, well, obviously if you've got new kitchens and bathrooms, people really like that. But it's not absolute. Maintenance, just making sure that everything's working and things like that, and that it's, people don't expect to necessarily have everything brand new and everything amazing. I mean, they're not necessarily buying a new, really only when it's a new house would they expect that. So what you're trying to do is, I guess, the best thing you do is look at each room and go, is this room inviting? Is the person that's likely to buy my house going to look at this room and go, I really like that. My family could be in here. I could live in this place. And also going outside into the outdoor areas. Is this an inviting space? Is this an outdoor living space that I would want to entertain in, relax in, feel good in? At the end of my day, can I come home here and go, wow, this is really beautiful. This is a really relaxing space. So, some of these things during this time when we've been at home, and I know a lot of people have been doing it, they have been getting out, getting their gardens looking gorgeous, they've been decluttering their homes, they've been working out what they need and what they don't need. I'd say that there's going to be a huge amount of dump runs after the lockdown, with people just getting rid of that stuff that they no longer need. But yeah, and in general, it's about looking at your house and saying, is this a property that people are going to go, wow, I really like the look of that. That's ticking boxes for me. So yeah, there's lots of things that we can do that are not expensive, but clean, tidy, decluttered, manicured gardens, tidy gardens. And hey, it wouldn't be bad if there's a hot tub in the corner, would it? That'd look pretty good.
I don't reckon that would take away from the house too much. I think that's, whenever I've gone to places and seen hot tubs, I was like, yeah, I could see myself living just for the hot tub.
That's right. Well, that's a really good example of showing somebody what it will be like to live in that house. Sometimes we look at a perceived lifestyle. So we know that we don't live in these immaculate homes. I mean, that's just not life. But what we do know is that people, when they look at a property to purchase, they perceive the lifestyle in that property. So if you can show them what that life might be like, and if it's a really good life, well, then they're going to want to come and have a look at it to see whether or not they could actually A, afford it, B, but they find that there's a need or a want at that point. So yeah, presentation in all ways is important. But as far as spending money is concerned, it's about looking at what you've got in your own home and saying, what would somebody go, oh, I don't like that, or that's not going to be good, pull away, or hey, wow, that looks really cool, I'd really like that. And it might be just, that, wow, the living room looks really cozy and really comfortable. Oh, look, there's lots of lovely light on that north side of the property. That's wonderful. Oh, look at the connection to the garden. That's incredible. I love that. It's those sort of things. Hey, look at that. Look at the steps outside. I can imagine sitting there with my coffee in the morning. It's those sort of things. I mean, they're not necessarily expensive things, but they're the way that we market, a property to make it, to see if they'll fit that their lifestyle, that buyer's lifestyle will fit that property.
Yeah, well, are there any things that you see people often feel they need to spend money on that maybe they don't, or they can put in other areas?
Well, I think that probably one of the biggest things that I wouldn't spend money on is expensive curtains. I mean, I know that sounds like a funny thing, but one of the things that people will probably change the first, if it is possibly things like curtains. If your curtains are if they're awful, like if they're falling apart and they're dirty and they're stained and whatever, you're actually better to take them off. Just take them off completely and not have them there at all. I mean, so but do you need to spend lots and lots and lots of money on expensive curtains? People like to believe that they've got good quality in the respect that they might have curtains that actually do the job, like they have blackouts or they've got thermal backs and things like that. But you don't have to spend $5 or $6 or $8 or $10,000 on a house when you could spend $2,000 to $3,000 and still get a really nice, a nice look and something that's really functional. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing something up for sale, you've got to look at quality versus durability and price, and work out what is going to be the best thing in that respect. It depends on where your house is sitting in the market. If you have a house which is under $500,000 that's going to market, and you put in an engineered stone bench top and a highly spec'd kitchen, you are not going to get your money back. Yes. And the reason for that is because the person that can afford to buy your property cannot afford to pay for the kitchen you've just put in. And so if you're going to put in a kitchen like that into your home, you do it for yourself. But don't expect to get somebody else that's going to come in off the street and go, well, the house is in this bracket, and I know that you've put this massively expensive kitchen in. But you know what? That person that can afford that massively expensive kitchen is likely to be looking at an $800,000 house. So you just got to work out what's congruent with the house that you have. So that's what, when we talk about overcapitalizing, look at what your property, the best case scenario of where it's sitting. And if you've spent enough money, the next time when you decide to spend money on it, you're doing it for yourself. Don't expect somebody else to then come in and pay you for doing that. You do it purely for yourself to live and love and enjoy. So I think that's probably a good way of looking at it when you're deciding what to do on a property. When we come out to do appraisals and things, we often do appraisals for people before they start a renovation, because they're wanting us to give them some ideas as to how, what they could do to add value to their house that the market will see as value added versus what they want to do themselves. And we are now really good at that. That's one thing that I think that we do a really good job at is helping people to work out what they should do and to what level, so that they don't at the end of, so when they are putting their property on the market, they're not saying, I'm not getting my money back, or I'm not, I can't sell this property because I'm losing
$1,000 into it, and I'm not making
it.
Yeah.
And then the other side of it is that the worst thing you can possibly do on a house if you're looking in that market, that the market is at this level and you're pitching your house, or you've renovated it to a level that's lower than that, that's just as bad. So, if you've got a $2 million house and they walk in and there's a really basic kitchen in there, most people are going to go, well, I don't have to buy basic. I've got $2 million. I want to buy something which is what I would consider a much higher spec property. So you've got to work out what the specs level are for your house, and we can help with that as well. So certainly, give us a call. We can talk, a lot about that and come out and do all that. So, of course, after lockdown, we can come out. Just right now. But we can do it. We can actually. Well, we have been doing a lot of virtual appraisals. We're able to talk like this, Sam, and so we're able to do that with a lot of people as well in their own homes and give them a bit of an idea of what to do.
Okay, so if for those people that are looking at selling their home after lockdown and they would like that sort of update, I guess, of or some guidance with what they can do with renovations, how can they get in touch with you?
Well, they can obviously give us a call. We've got, we'll give you all the numbers and things for that. They can email us. But the best thing is probably to give us a call so we can make an appointment time. Well, what we do is a service, and this is without cost. Come out to your house. We will spend a bit of time with you, talk about what you're wanting to do. If you're looking at renovating and then wanting to look at putting it on the market after that, well, then we can obviously help you to work out what you need to do that's going to be great for you, but then isn't on sale. If you're doing it for yourself, well, or if you've done a renovation and you want us to come out and sort of tell you where you're probably maybe sitting in the market now, we obviously do that as well. So we come out, spend 15, 20 minutes looking around your house, having a bit of a chat to you. It's about an hour altogether. Then we go away and we do what's called a comparative market analysis. So we look at properties that have sold in and around the area in the last sort of 6 to 12 months that are comparable to your property. And all that does is, it doesn't give you an absolute figure as to what your house is going to sell for, but what it does is it gives you a value range. So if you know that your house is sort of sitting in this level to that level, and you're thinking about doing a few extra things, you can work out whether you want to do that or not. There are some things which will be deal breakers for people. So we like to, when buying property, that is, so we like to look at what those things are and make sure that before they put their property to market, they have rectified those things. Because if we can do that for them, it's going to cause, save them from a lot of pain and suffering, and possibly a much lower price at market if those things haven't been rectified and people don't see desirability. Because the only way that you can get desirability when there is a problem at a house is by dropping your price.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Yeah,
and nobody wants that for an owner.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of what your question was, but essentially, if you're wanting that service, then it's easy to do, and it's something that we offer as a free service. Obviously, we'd like to be able to sell your house at the end of it, but that's totally up to you. As I say, it's a no obligation situation.
And I'll put all of those, I'll put all of those details on how you can get in touch with Bronwyn and her team in the description down below, so you can do that. But hey, thanks so much for your time and coming on the show, Bronwyn.
Thank you very, very much for having me.
No problems. Just before we go, we have one last question I always love to ask. If you had the opportunity to share a hot tub with anybody in the world, whether it be past or present, who would that be and why?
Oh man. Okay, how big's the hot tub?
Well, you can fit up to 9 people.
Oh wow. Okay, so it's a party tub. It's a party tub.
Party tub.
Right. Okay, so the younger me would have probably wanted my rugby crush in the hot tub with me, which was Aaron Major. I thought he was just divine. Still do, actually. He's a wee hottie. So yeah, he would have been quite good to have shared a hot tub in my younger days. Now, who I'd love to spend time with in a hot tub would probably be, well, to talk about, just stuff. Freud, obviously, would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, wouldn't that be great to have Sigmund Freud in the tub? Maybe. The other person I'd love to have in the tub, because of the TV side of things that I love, would be Peter Jackson. I mean, he would be great to talk to about just the industry, stuff like that. I'd love to have him in the hot tub. Obviously, my family would have to be in the tub with me as well.
Yeah.
So that would be important. And if you know anything, well, you know about hot tubs. If you've got a child in the hot tub with you, it's a great time to have a bit of a cuddle and to really connect with your kids. So I'd definitely have my daughter in there. Not that it would be that restful, but yeah, those are the people that I probably want in the hot tub. Anyone else? Wow. No, I think that would be okay. I'll probably possibly have my business partners, because we could do a lot of work in the tub together. I guess that would be kind of nice as well. So yeah, there's lots of people. I'm glad there's lots of room.
I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, man, I really need to make a little shelf that I can just put my laptop on in the tub and I can just work away on it every day. Probably end up at the end of the day as a bit of a prune, especially with my haircut that I've got going on here. But
hey, I've got a question for you. That's something that I wonder is what is the difference between a hot tub and a spa pool? So I mean, is it the jets or what?
Yeah, so a hot tub's traditionally wood fired. It's super basic, so it's kind of like a bath I guess. So you don't have the jets, you don't have all the bells and whistles, but it's just a very nice natural experience. And there's nothing quite like sitting under the stars with the little wafts of the smoke coming from the chimney. And
so there's a smell as well, right? Okay, so you've got that.
The whole experience, I guess. Yeah, it's a pretty special feeling.
And do you have to stoke that fire up all the time, or is it something that that actually does itself?
So it's a pretty big firebox. It has about 60 kilowatts of output, which is about 3 times sort of what the traditional house fire does. So you stoke it up to start with, and then you do one more stoke, and then within 2 hours it'll be ready to go.
Wow! So you're saying from cold
Mm-hmm.
to hot, and not hot enough to sit in. You just 2 hours.
2 hours.
That's
8
cool.
people. 8 people's bathtubs in under 2 hours. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. How much wood would you go through? Is it wood that it's fired with wood, or how do you?
Yeah. Typically, yeah, we do have an electric option as well. But our wood burner one, that's sort of a small half barrel load of wood. So it's pretty efficient. It sort of depends on what you're burning as well, as to how much wood you need. But you kind of get a good hang of it over the first few tubs. Yeah.
Great. Sounds good. When's it coming? You need my address?
I think we'll need to sort something out, definitely. But
that sounds good. Sounds great.
I don't think I want to leave any incriminating evidence on video.
No, fair enough. No, that sounds good. Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks so much, Bronwyn, and you take care. All right, guys. Hey, that was our 3rd episode of Tub Talk. Thank you so much for coming along. If this added value to you and you think that there's somebody else that's looking at selling a house or doing some renovations and would like to come on and sort of have a look at the show, share this with them. I'm sure they would love it. But hey, until next time, guys, thank you so much. And remember, relax. You deserve it.